Hey guys, how's it going? Elliot here again. In today's video, we are going to be opening what I think is hopefully going to be the best pickup that I've ever had. Well, I mean, for a lot of people watching, they're really not going to care. But for me, this is something that I've been after for a very long time. I spent quite a lot of money on this, I'm not going to lie. I believe I spent about 100 euros or similar to that, or anyway, something like that. And if this is what it is, then I'm very excited. So this is something that I've been after. Yes, this is definitely it. This is something I've been after for a very long time, and it came up on eBay as a bid, and I put a big bid in. I put a bid of 100 euros in, and it had about 7 days on it. And then as it got to about the 6th day, the bid went up to about £80. Or 80 euros rather, and I just got slightly nervous, so I put a 150 euro bid on it. And here's a adapter. So it's got a European adapter here, like I think this is a French one. Well, obviously I got it from France. This is actually made by Newbie, who made quite a lot of GameBoy accessories. I think this is probably a GameBoy or similar to adapter. So this will give you a little bit of an indication for some of you who know quite a lot about this and have watched more of my videos in the past. This is obviously the main item. We're going to put that to the side and just take out the rest of the things. So I did put up a post on my Facebook page. If you guys aren't already a part of that Facebook page, I'll leave the link to that in the description. And I said I've just had my best pickup that I've ever had, and I'm really excited. So there you go, there's everything in the box. Just look how many games there are. Okay, so you guys are probably thinking, what are those? They look a little bit like Game Boy cartridges. They are actually Mega Duck cartridges. Of course, my camera wasn't in focus when I showed you that. So this is the first one. This is Puppet Night. This is actually a Bomberman clone. And this is a game that I've been after for a very long time, and I'm really happy to have this in my collection. It seems to be in very nice condition, which is really exciting. So awesome. Next game, Snake Roy. You can never have too many copies of Snake Roy. This is my second copy of Snake Roy. My first copy is actually not in my possession at the moment. Yeah, so the contacts on this look pretty dirty. I'm going to have to give them a clean and see if they work. The next one is a 4-in-1 Mega Duck cartridge. Now this actually came with the Mega Ducks in some places in the world, so that's quite cool. There's also, I never know how to pronounce this, but I've already got one of these games. This is Solomon's Treasure, I think that's how you pronounce it. Next up is another game that I don't have. This is Arctic Zone. So I think it's going to be Arctic Zone, but this is just Arctic Zone because we are talking about the highest of qualities right here. Next one is Armor Force. This is another game that I've been really excited to get. And so yeah, there you go, Armor Force. We're going to have to definitely give that one a try. And lastly, Black Forest Tale. So here it is. It is not a console that is working. I can already feel the Switch doesn't feel right at all. The Switch definitely doesn't feel right. So we're going to have to try and work out what's actually wrong with this thing and try and get it working. Alright, so I've got this thing open. Now, what I'm hoping is... oh no. Okay, so the whole switch actually has snapped off inside. Now that's never a good sign. But at the same time, assuming that is the only problem, we should actually be able to fix that. This all pops out and is held in by some pins. But, funnily enough, and this is something that's really strange, the speaker is actually like burnt in place. It really doesn't make a lot of sense, but you can actually see what it looks like they've done is taken a soldering iron and basically burnt the plastic from the shell, and that then secures it in. But this one obviously wasn't done too well because I can just lift the whole thing out. But what I had to do in my last one was actually cut it out, and this broke off within like a second. But we don't even know if the speaker works yet, so we're going to just be really, really gentle. You've got to remember this stuff is extremely, extremely cheap. But we now have our exposure to the broken switch, so let's see what we can actually do with this. I can actually see that it's in the on. You can actually still move it, so I think what we might try and do now is just test it, just to see if we can even get any life out of this thing, because we don't know if it works yet. And that hasn't worked. It's quite difficult to do this. Okay, that's not working yet. We're definitely not getting any life yet. That's a little bit worrying. That is a little bit worrying, I'm not gonna lie. I was able to take the switch off. It took a very, very long time to do. The only replacement that I have at the moment is this. It's time for the moment of truth. I've put some batteries in and I've put the game cartridge in that we've just cleaned up. And here's our slightly dodgy switch. And okay, it's on. Boom! There we go. We've even got sound as well. Heck yeah. And also, even better, there doesn't appear to be any lines on the screens, which is the first Mega Duck I own that doesn't have lines on the screen. So just absolutely amazing that it was just the switch that needed, well, replacing. Obviously there's going to still need to be a little bit of work done to this to actually get it sorted. Pretty goddamn happy with that. It's been a number of weeks since I last did an entry on this video, and on this project rather, and what I've basically gone and done is ordered a load of switches, because obviously the switch for this was completely broken. The actual plastic piece was snapped off. I managed to, with a bit of help from my friend Sean, to track down some of these, which are very, very similar, if not almost identical switches. Now, I didn't know what size this was going to be, and if any of them that were going to fit. So I ended up ordering quite a lot of different ones. Unfortunately, they all arrived today. So a couple of them obviously we're going to write off. I mean, these are far too small. Bearing in mind the legs need to fit into those 3 holes at the top here. And then I also ordered from 2 different sellers, although they seem to be absolutely identical. I can confirm that these are both exactly the same switches. The main issue for this, and this is where it was the Mega Duck had some sort of bespoke, unique, maybe even custom made, in fact I doubt that, to be honest, switch, was the outside shield here, which is kind of acts as a ground, needs to go into these 2 copper holes here, these two terminals, traces, I don't know. And yeah, so the middle pins look like they line up. I'm going to have to take out the crud that's in the hole from the previous desoldering. And then those pins, what I'm probably going to end up doing is just bending them flat and then just soldering on. The actual switch piece itself is quite obviously very, very long, so I'm probably going to have to cut that down. So I'm not going to do that though until I've soldered this in, because it's not too sure how much I'm going to actually need. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and solder this switch in and see if we can get this even working. Alright, I have assembled everything back together. I had to resolder the speaker down because that was also, that snapped off. The connectors on all of the wires I had to pretty much replace just because of how poorly they were soldered. But it now is in a working order, which is really, really cool. As you will be able to see here, I've put the little switch cover back in. And the speaker works. It's really nice and loud. Initially I was going to put a GameBoy Pocket speaker in, but I really wanted to keep it as original as possible, and I think something about the crappy speaker that it came with really adds to the originality. But yeah, there we go. The only slight issue is that inside here the support was actually broken for the switch, so although you get a nice click going that way, on the way back you don't get such a nice click, and that's just because that support is actually damaged. So eventually what I'll probably end up having to do is trying to fabricate some sort of support in there. So this is probably not going to be my play unit, although I'm really happy to announce that it is in absolutely working order. Obviously I have loads and loads of these, so if another one breaks, then at least I've got another 1,000 of them to use. So there we go. That is it. The only video like this on the whole of YouTube. I got loads of really cool games, and yeah, super happy about this pickup. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this slightly different video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.